even though you have a dominant close encounter of the third kind with the gray, there are 4 or 5 other species, one of which is the insectoid.
Okay.
Large grasshopper, praying mantis.
Wow.
And you could just feel culturally there's something sort of evil and dangerous going on here.
Yeah.
And so it's hard for me to take something like that literally. And then there's another alien who is a tall, handsome man that looks like a Scandinavian. That's my wife's favorite alien.
I'm sure.
And so, you have to use categories such as myth, I think, in order to try to put these things together. That doesn't mean there isn't some authentic experience underneath, but all the cultural manifestations I have to put in the category of myth. And one of the most highly respected investigators is named Jacques Vallée in Silicon Valley, and he also sees these mythical dimensions, and then he tries to connect it with pre-modern experiences with fairies and things like that. Let me just say I haven't gone there.
Yeah.
Myself, but there are some who see these mythical structures at work, which only makes it more difficult. And the scientists at SETI or NASA, boy, they don't want to have anything to do with myth.
Yeah, and
in fact, if they can get away from cultural tropes in general, they want to. So that only makes it more complicated, the public conversation much more complicated. And I think the theologian needs to understand that complication and then speculate. We have to speculate because, you don't have conclusive empirical evidence for the things that you want to talk about.
Yeah, you got to unpick all of that and sort of come to a reasoned conclusion. And speaking of, these kind of cultural tropes, I know you mentioned about your wife favors the Scandinavian one, but do you have a favorite kind of cultural depiction of extraterrestrials that you would?
I really do. Yes, I do. I think that there are only 2 authentic UFO movies. The Day the Earth Stood Still, 1951, and Close Encounters of the Third Kind, 1977. All the others are science fiction.
Okay.
Now, the message in the 1951 movie where Klaatu is standing on the flying saucer talking to the scientific community, so important that the scientists represent the world, and in the movie we found the politicians couldn't. So he's talking to the scientists about what extraterrestrial civilization looks like, and he's warning us against nuclear war. 1951, okay?
Yeah.
Robert Oppenheimer's still alive.
Right.
at this juncture. Well, okay, now that's a movie. By 1952, 53, 54, you've got UFO cults developing, religious organizations centered around a shaman, and the shaman is the one who had the UFO experience, and the message is the same as Klaatu. Stop nuclear weapons testing,
right.
And that really was the dominant point of view. And so I getting back to the Satan thing, and I don't want to overstate this, I think what's coming to expression here is this deep human realization we cannot save ourselves.
Yep.
We are on the brink of self-destruction through nuclear weapons. We cannot save ourselves. And these more highly technologically advanced aliens are coming. They can save us from self-destruction. So you see a kind of messianism at work there. And, of course, these cult leaders, they were attuned to dimensions. And so getting back to Satan again, and I don't want to overstate this, but Satan is appealing to you and my goodness. Of course we want world peace.
He can jump on that.
Yeah, of course we want to do that. And how are we going to get it? Well, technological progress. That's how we're going to get it.
Yeah, exactly. That's great way of looking at it.
Yeah, so that actually has been kind of one of my central concerns all along. And I think the shift to ecology in the late 1980s, early 1990s was actually a cultural shift rather than, I don't think the space aliens changed much, but their concern really had to do with ecology. And I don't know if you've looked at the work of John Mack or not from that period.
I haven't.
And he was a psychiatrist at Harvard. He did in-depth interviews of UFO abductees. And that's what he reported, that the aliens had communicated to them that we need to protect our planet from self-destruction. And it's interesting that the aliens had the same view of the world that John Mack himself.
Yeah, that they happen to follow the predominant cultural fear of the time of the apocalyptic, end of world scenario, whether it's nuclear war, climate crisis. It seems like the aliens are kind of in tune with whatever's in vogue at that time.
What our anxiety is, they speak to it.
Well, I would say that I have a soft spot for Independence Day as a movie that I love. I know it may not be as profound as some other movies, but I just maybe it's that kind of longing to be an American and have the American patriotism inside me from afar.
Right. Well, that theme will always sell and etc. But I would say that even though it's an exciting movie because the good guys win, it doesn't actually fit the UFO phenomenon. I think the UFO phenomenon looks differently than what Independence Day suggests.
What about Mars Attacks? Have you seen that one?
No, I haven't.
It's certainly an interesting film. It was I think it was it Tim Burton or someone like that directed it. It's very surreal. It's that these aliens come down and they look like they have these bubble domes in their brains kind of sticking out of their heads, and they come down and looks like they're they keep saying that they come in peace, and then they start blasting everybody, and it's very surreal, where I think in the end Tom Jones saves the world with an Elvis record being played over a gramophone that explodes their brains. And
I've got to watch it. Mars Attacks is called?
Mars Attacks, and they're little Martians, that come down.
I like Elvis. If Elvis could save the world, I'm happy with
it. Was either Elvis or maybe it was Hank Williams, but it was like one of these kind of crooning records from played on a gramophone, and for some reason it resonated their brains and exploded. But it's a crazy movie. But yeah, Tom Jones, who would have thought he would have been involved in the saving the world? But